And from out of the darkness came, "It's me again!" Here we go, man. Round 11. Distributor and the problems within and without. The original distributor was a rock around thing, man. You know, it would sit there, you could see it rock. And the vacuum advance system on that particular distributor, when the vacuum advance sucks through the carburetor system and the diaphragm of the vacuum advance, it advances, it draws in, which causes, on that particular distributor, it causes the whole distributor to turn. You can see it turn. There's videos of it in my number one repair to get the Johnny going. Yeah, you can see that. And the problem with that is mine was so old and had rocked around in there for so long, and then it kind of started to misfire, and it wasn't because the points were out of adjustment. It was just because it was rocking around so much and things weren't right. So I went ahead and ordered a brand new replacement. And when it got here, the part where the points connector comes through the wall, you know, let me figure out how to do this, through the wall of the distributor, that works, yeah. And over on this side back over here is two nuts where you put your wire from your coil and nut it down. But the problem I encountered with that was that I couldn't get a wrench on to loosen the nut, to get to the nut, to separate, because there's two nuts that lock together. I couldn't get anything on it because the plastic piece that it was in was too big. So I had to cut the plastic piece back to expose the two nuts. That's the first thing with that distributor, before it was even put in. And I'm rotating this thing and looking at how the points work. It's not like lined up. They're in there kinked sideways. And it's like, what's with this? So I had to work on the points and get the points to set into the plate right. Yeah, right from the factory. It was no installed and plug it and go. I got it in. It ran all right, man. The thing ran good. There's a video that I'll post with it of it running great, man. But I wanted to do away with the points, man. That hope, you know, because even that one, I was able to get it to where it didn't rock around as much. It didn't seem to do that. Okay. That's because I ordered a new hold down where on that particular model the vacuum advance, like I said, advances the whole distributor, and there's a gooseneck clamp that locks that distributor in, so the distributor's shaft doesn't turn and it won't change your timing. You know what I mean? That's your lockdown. But it has a little slip in that goes into a groove hole in that vacuum advance piece. Well, over the years, things didn't seem to line up. So I ordered a new gooseneck. The gooseneck that I ordered, was for a 62 Chevy Impala. Because I couldn't find any for a 62 Chevy truck. When it got here, I realized there was a difference in how they slipped together. Because in a car, you got different room to work in. So they made that so that it would be a different angle that you can get into the car and adjust the timing and all of that. And on the truck, they were different. They're easier to do. So what I ended up having to do was take my gooseneck, lay it out on my vise, hammer here and there, twist and bend. And I could see that part of the problem was the nut and bolt that went through it only tightened so far, had been stripped out so much over the years by the previous owner, and it was installed backwards. Made it really hard to get in to adjust your timing the way he had done it. So I took the new bolt out of the new that I couldn't use gooseneck, fixed mine, put the new bolt in. It works perfect. Distributor doesn't rock anymore. Timing is locked and stays where it's supposed to be, and it advances. Well, that's great. But then I wanted to upgrade to an electronic ignition, do away with the whole points and stuff, and I bought an electronic distributor. It has everything internal. Coil on the top, all the pickups and everything are all inside. No external box needed. You just plug it in. Well, there's a little change in the vacuum advance. It has a vacuum advance that has a nipple on it, and it has got a rod that goes through into the inside of the distributor where it advances the plate inside, not the whole distributor, just the plate. That was the change that they also made in points distributors after my truck was made. They went to the kind where the distributor plate moved, not the whole distributor. So what I did was I had to go to the local parts house, get a brake line from a master cylinder down to the front left brake of like a Toyota or something. It's a metal line. And with that, I was able to get a fitting that would fit into it with a threads with a hole in the other end, because my vacuum advance original is it screws over the top of, no, it screwed into the vacuum advance into. So I needed to be able to couple the two pieces together, and I cut the line off so that I had a nipple, because it had a nipple on the new one and I needed to run a rubber hose to the other, and it wasn't going to go up over my whole thing, so I had to create this thing, a nipple for it, which it worked great. It works great. And I didn't cut and alter my original, so I could use an original distributor still. Fine. I left it that way, not thinking that I was going to have any problems. About a week and a half later, man, that distributor started to mess up. But I needed to get an alignment done, so I took it to Les Schwab tires to have it aligned, and it ran great, man. I pulled in the parking lot. People were coming over, looking at it, listening to us. And man, this thing runs great. Dude, it ran great, man. And kid took it around to the back, man, and he had that back there about an hour and a half. And it's like, man, this is taking a long time to do a freaking ass alignment. You know, on one bar that goes across, because it's a four-wheel drive. On one bar across, you loosen up the two little goosenecks, and you turn the arm one way or the other. It's one big arm. It's a crazy mo, folks. So an hour and a half later, he comes in and says, I can't get your truck. I'm done, but I can't get your truck, started. I can't get it out of the bay, man. You come out here and help us? So I went out there and I saw what was going on, and it's like, well, let's just back it out here into the parking lot. So three of us pushed it out into the parking lot, and I threw a timing light on it. The timing was off. I set the timing, got it fired up, drove it home. It ran like crap, man. I mean, it was barely making it home. I got home, parked it out here on the back side of the house over here instead of the other end of the house where I park. And I looked at it for a couple hours out through my window here, man, and it's like I was just getting so frustrated because I figured the engine was going to have to come out and be rebuilt, man, the way it ran. I mean, I just could not believe how bad it ran. Then I went ahead and started and pulled it around the other end of the house, and I pulled the distributor out. And the distributor, I couldn't turn it. Barely. I could barely turn that distributor. It was seized. And in through a little hole in the shaft where the oil goes in to keep everything lubed, you could see the melted bearings inside. It was melted inside. So I went ahead and Ordered another one because that one was beyond repair. Ordered another one, and the new one got here, and I put it in, and it just did not want to run right. And in all actuality, that one, the new one, needed to have the vacuum advance set up by getting in and screwing the screw inside the vacuum advance and having RPMs up at 2,500 RPMs on a meter, okay? One of those machines where it's up there doing its thing. You set that to its optimal, fine. But I don't have that equipment. I just got a little handheld little dwell meter and RPM thing, and I don't have a third body, and there ain't no Joey out here. Joey button only works for the starter when I want to work it that way. Joey won't do the other for me. So I'm stuck with the problem, and this distributor wasn't going to work either. So I went ahead and put that new replacement back in. And I did all this work in 2020. And this is the 27th of July, 2022. And that points distributor is running perfect. No problems with it. So I'm going to leave that new replacement where it's at. Enjoy! That's round 11, baby! Woo! I don't think, let me do some quickie thinking here. I don't think I have any more major repairs that were done to get this truck continually going down the road. Other things have been like new fog lights, man, which it had never had. I got fog lights on the front. I added LED tail lights in the back, on the back of the post part of your tail light, your tailgate, where your bed is, the bolts, you got your tailgate. It's a step side, so I added a couple of little LED tail lights, which really helps at night, man, because the original little round ones, you don't see those until you're 10 feet up on the freaking thing. So there we go, little things like that, a new CB radio that nobody's on. Nobody uses them anymore. It was a waste of freaking. It looks good. It looks good. New shift boot, for my 4-wheel shifter. Little stuff like that. I'm not going to make any videos about it. I'll just tell you in this one. But far as the truck, man, the truck has been phenomenal. 3 foot of snow here this last winter, and I drove it out that freaking road, man, down. No chains, 4-wheel drive. I don't think I'll do that again, because that last little bit coming up into my yard, it's a limited slip, so that right rear slipped a little. But any other than that, no, man, it went through that 3 foot of snow with no problems, no chains, with just regular street mud and snows. I want to get some grabbers, baby. Ooh.